Hey everyone, thanks for coming out to this quick introduction. So this is international organizations and law. It's a lot of students here, so be kind. Obviously, a lot of students probably want to go to law school as well. Put this on their resume, etc. It's a good class to have, and I hope it's going to be a fun class for you. My name's Dr. Charles G. Ripley. I lived in Nicaragua 8 years of my life. Came here, studied my PhD at ASU. They hired me for some reason and haven't fired me for some reason. So beat that, maybe because there's 200 of you in this class. So regardless, for this class, well, now I'm still doing research in Latin America. I just published some articles, published one on law, and I kind of got trapped into law because they still want me to do more work on law, although, you know, how much can you do? Well, a lot, because look at this book. I did not write this, but this is the one. I would be rich if I did. Yeah, no, it's screwing up my background. But regardless, international law, it's actually a good book and the best book I found. And I figure in a lot of my classes, I try to go bookless to keep it cheap. But if you do want to study law, you're going to have to read a lot of books like this. And it's good to get used to it. And it is good to have some books in the course. Now, this is the older version. There's a newer version. I put it. You can get the older version. You're fine. The newer version. Get what's, you don't want to get a super old version where they're like, the League of Nations just came out. But you basically, this version should be fine. This is the 8th edition. And there's a newer edition, but don't go out and break the bank for it. But I wanted to introduce you to the class. It's going to be a fun class. It does roll. It is a 400 level course, so it might be a little demanding than the others, but it is very similar. If you've taken me before, we're going to have fun debates. We're going to have fun rebuttals. We're going to have exams, quizzes every week. And for the final paper, it's going to be fun. You're going to actually pick your own court case, do an analysis of it. You're really going to kind of challenge it. Should have it been taken? It could be anywhere from the WHO, more the judicial cases like the law of the sea, the International Criminal Court. We actually have, if you're interested in economics, the World Trade Organization, which is going to be important. It can be a case in the European Union. It can be actually anywhere. This is not a U.S.-centric course, right? It could be the ICJ, the International Court. It could be anything. Like I'll be doing a big thing on Nicaragua, taking the United States to the International Criminal Court. International Court of Justice by mistake. The ICJ. But I think I just got off that COVID thing. So anyways, the point is it's going to be a good course. It's going to be demanding. Please, in all my other courses, like I have, there are rules and expectations. So what are they? Well, it's a 400 level course. Once you get to 0 in your discussion board, you can't go back. There's a bunch every week. Once the quiz lecture opens, you can't go back and take it. They have due dates of the debates. If you start lagging, there's only 2 debates, but still, if you don't do them, it starts getting, losing points. Moreover, there'll be a midterm and a final exam you really have to prepare for. And this book is pretty thick. Now, I have to go over the material if for it to be in the exam, because, this isn't law school yet, so you're not insane. And you can't even work in your first year of law school. So, but, keep up with the work and everything and you'll do well. Behind me is actually UNASUR, where I went to and did research. That was in Ecuador, in the middle of this area that actually is kind of touristy. So it was kind of cool to go there. And then I went to the tourist area, the middle of the earth or something like that. But anyways, the point is that now it doesn't exist. See, and I thought it was very useful. But institutions come, international organizations go. I mean, that's how it is. But some solidify, like the United Nations, the World Trade Organization, and the WHO, despite all this kind of rhetoric against it, whether you're against it, you thought China had influence over it because, China is a state and it doesn't like the fact that, maybe the COVID did come from there. So did it try to cover it up? Not that it's because it's China. It's because as a state, it doesn't want to, like the United States wouldn't want people to know that either. Just like when Nicaragua took the United States, the ICJ and won, it said, well, we don't even care. So the United States is pretty shameless. But we're going to see in a lot of cases, smaller states do care about these things. And to a certain degree, so does the United States of America and China and other states for legitimacy purposes. And it's going to be very, very important to what extent will countries submit, surrender their sovereignty for international law. And what does that depend on, right? Their area or their power in the system. Look at Russia. Is it illegal based on international law that Russia invaded Ukraine, or for them, the Ukraine? Russians would call it that. And we're using an organization, international organization from the Cold War, NATO, North Atlantic Treaty Organization. Now, I mean, we used them in Afghanistan, former Yugoslavia, and other places, Libya, obviously that was a disaster and stuff. So, to balance Russia. So should we be using this internationalization? This is all really interesting and part of the debates. It's part of the fun for the course. Not that war is fun, by the way. And we're going to really kind of tackle this book, to the extent we can, but it is a good read. You should get it, particularly if you are going to study law, even not international law. It's good to get kind of used to reading books like this that go over all this stuff. So I'm not going to bullet you with anything else. Many of you have had me before. If you haven't had me, please watch the point structure. I give it to all my courses because I want to stress I am not the jury, executioner, what do I say? The judge of all, my cat's dying, my abuela's in the hospital, etc. Maybe a cat's in the hospital and abuela's, babushka's dying, right? This is one of the things that's very important to understand. I mean, there's 200 people in the course. So anyways, I am excited to give the course, and I know I've had a lot of you before, and I really enjoy having you again. So I won't keep you with this really short introduction. I think the modules and all that stuff will say it itself. The syllabus will lay out kind of the themes I want to stress. And then the discussion boards and the learning materials will have the exact dates and times, because I notice people don't really read too much of the syllabus. So I started relying more on Canvas. And I found that to be a good system where the discussion questions themselves help kind of lead you towards the, readings. So like, instead of just laying it out, like read this, read that on the syllabus, what helps the students more is, okay, look at the discussion questions. Okay, in chapter 3, what is blah, blah, blah? What does the author mean when in the lecture on blank? What is the professor? What is the reason for his background, right? What is the purpose of NGOs you'll see and IGOs? What's the difference? What are the examples given? When is something like the United Nations useful? When isn't it, etc. So I've noticed that the discussion board questions kind of help the students geared towards, and then we can take the quizzes, which, you'll have every week. And we have a community forum, which is great. If you think you have a question that's not of a personal nature that other students can actually benefit from, that will be absolutely intense to leave it there. So like the poor Una Sword in the middle of Ecuador, I have to leave now too. But unlike Una Sword in the middle of Ecuador, and that's, by the way, the first president, Kirchner, who did a good job at brokering some peace between Venezuela and Colombia in the early days, who passed away. That was his statue, and the government that took over after Rafael Correa didn't like him too much, so they got out of it. So it's just the winds of politics in South America. So take care, everyone, and I hope you enjoy the class.